Our bleak story begins with a man talking into a recorder, saying what day and time it is. He is Dr. Ryan Andrews. The man continues by saying that the ward does not have a certain lady, but he does. By the time certain people figure something out, he will be gone. As he says this, we hear a woman struggling somewhere. We see her restrained to a bed. Ryan watches her some more while saying more things into his recorder. Soon he sits to take some pills and looks at his gun. The lady restrained in bed is Darcy. Ryan tells her to stay where she is in her dream. He adds that no one will hurt her, yet she has to let him in. The first words we hear her say are rather disturbing. Darcy whispers to him that first, one is chosen, then one is used. The doctor is curious to know what she sees. After that, he says he can't help her if she doesn't try to remember. We learn that Darcy is scared of what she might become. Ryan says there is evidence that certain children sleepwalk because they are trying to get back to their... He also says that if Darcy wants to confront some woman who is not specified, she has to go where that woman is. According to Darcy, that woman is deceased. Supposedly, some woman abused Darcy in a certain house. Ryan assures her that if she starts regressing, he will get her out of there. He promises to torch the place. Now he wants her to sleep. After she does, he talks into his recorder again. He says his patient has shown no signs of the ability or desire to express suppressed physical or emotional memory. As his voiceover keeps talking, we see him driving somewhere with Darcy. By night, they arrive at a house. Upon exiting the car, Ryan finds a small rocking horse on the ground. Afterward, he enters a dark abandoned house. He has to walk inside of it with a lit lighter. Darcy enters the house too. They walk around, taking their time to observe the place, especially Ryan. Soon they hear something fall. The doctor searches where that noise came from. What he finds is a young boy crouching. Darcy places some chips in a bowl for the boy to eat. We see he is saying nothing to either of them, not standing, and having poor hygiene. Darcy tells him it is okay, he can eat. She informs Ryan that the boy can't eat until he's been given permission. She tells the doctor that if one ate before being given permission, they would get the whip. Ryan wants her to say the words the way her abuser said them to her. He wants Darcy to momentarily imitate her behavior. Of course, she does not want to relive such an awful memory. She knows the words that Ryan wants her to say, so she ends up saying them with difficulty. This ignites the boy's ability to start eating the chips like a... Having said those painful memory-inducing words, Darcy walks away. Alone with the boy, Ryan tells him they aren't going to hurt him. He also asks the boy for his name. There is a writing utensil on the floor that Ryan gives him. The boy uses it to write his name, which is Sam, on a newspaper. Later, the doctor talks into his recorder to say the situation is worse than he thought. The boy is malnourished but still healthy. Ryan says Sam's soul communication has been roaring and growling. Then he goes to Darcy, who is in a rocking chair, to tell her Sam's name. He asks if he is her brother. Unfortunately, she can't tell him things she doesn't remember. She doesn't know about Sam or anything else they might find there. She also does not want to go back to that room. It is too painful for her to face. Her doctor wants her to know that it could be a starting point for her healing. She eventually agrees to help get Sam out of there, on the condition that Ryan promises her to board the room up once she does. Ryan agrees to her condition. Following this talk, Darcy moves closer to Sam, calmly telling him she lived in the same room he is in and she knows what happens there. She tries telling him to let her help him. In the meantime, Ryan walks elsewhere with his lantern. Shortly after, he gets a call on his phone. The man who called him shows how pleasant he is by instantly insulting the doctor with profanity. He also demands that Ryan bring back Darcy in this instance. If he does, he might keep his job. The man tells Ryan that the latter can't save the world. Supposedly, that's what he thinks Ryan is trying to do. Furthermore, he tells the doctor that he's putting himself and the institution in danger just because Ryan's child passed away. What Ryan wants to know from this angry caller is how they can expect people to get better. The man reminds Ryan that he took a sociopath to the ward without permission. That sociopath nearly took someone's life. Ryan ends the phone call by saying he is currently on leave. Alone, Darcy opens a drawer to find many disturbing photos there. We don't see them in detail, we simply get a glimpse of their unsettling nature. She puts a newspaper over them before closing the drawer. Apparently, Darcy does not want them found. She heads over to Ryan, who is smoking in the house, to tell him to stop it because her mom would not like that. This statement reveals that it is her own mother who abused. Ryan reminds her that her mom is gone. Therefore, Darcy could do anything she likes. Changing the topic, she says Sam is not ready and he doesn't trust them. Ryan advises not to force anything on the boy. He wants to let Sam figure out how he wants to respond to them. These two are in a disagreement, for Darcy thinks they have to get him out. She also can't look at Sam. She spent years trying to destroy this part of her life. However, it's now right in front of her again. The doctor's wise reply is that if she saves Sam, it would be very much like she is saving herself. When they both sleep, Sam crawls to them. Ryan wakes up to see him there. It prompts him to talk into his recorder, saying the subject has emerged from his pen and the source of his security is unknown. Darcy wakes up to have Ryan tell her this will work. Then we get a montage of them cleaning the house. Surprisingly, Sam starts helping too. He also stands like a normal person. Later, Darcy tells Ryan that she's thankful for two things. One of them is Sam. The second is that Ryan trusts her not to sleepwalk. During her sleep, Darcy has a disturbing dream involving a horse. She tells a story about a master who had a horse. That horse was a faithful servant. At some point, that horse turned on its master, becoming disobedient and weak. After that, we observe Sam drawing in a notebook. Darcy tells Ryan that he's still not talking, but he started drawing with his black crayon. She also tells Ryan that she's not looking back into her past. It is about existing in the present. He wants her to know that Sam is getting better because of her. Afterward, he sits near the boy, asking him how they will color together if there is just one crayon. Sam responds by breaking the crayon to give one part to Ryan. The man considers it a problem solved, so he starts drawing with Sam while Darcy watches them. The next scene shows Ryan listening to his recorder. On it, he says Sam reminds him of a boy named Rodney. It has been 4 years since he's been with him. He thinks this could be his second chance at something. Hearing that, Ryan stops the recorder. We are left wondering who Rodney is and what happened to him. Ryan thinks statement implies that the boy likely failed Rodney in some way. Subsequently, Darcy approaches him and he gives her Sam's drawing. Looking at it makes her believe the boy has big plans for the backyard. However, Ryan says that Sam thinks he's the dog in his drawing. Darcy is optimistic, saying that perhaps he just wants to give his name to a dog. At that point, Ryan asks if she told Sam that her mom treated her like. She admits she did not, because she doesn't want to scare him. Then, she tells the doctor that she is merely his project. We learn she is there due to having love for him. Addressing her previous statement, he says he's there to find her pain. She wonders if he would love her if she got better. The doctor admits it would be easier if she was. At a different time, Ryan gives Sam one of his shirts. After putting his shirt on Sam, Ryan shares how his son used to sleep in his shirts. They made him feel safe. He also mentions how his son is about Sam's age by now. When the boy sleeps, he experiences an unsettling dream situated in the woods. Later, Sam eats cereal like he ate the chips earlier. Ryan gives him a spoon, instructing the feral boy how to eat with it. Lacking experience in using such a utensil, Sam takes a big spoonful that cannot fit into his mouth. Shortly after, Ryan goes elsewhere to open a big box. Inside of it lies a much smaller one. It contains a ring. Following this, Ryan performs hypnosis on Darcy. She experiences a very disturbing vision because of this. Ryan nearly urges her to talk to her mother. Talking as if her mom is present, Darcy says she didn't mean to bite her, but her mom kept pushing something in her. Now Ryan wants Darcy to tell her mom how much she hates her. Soon, she starts talking as if she became her mother. She says the weak ones get it the worst. It's for their own good. That way they survive to become the master. Ryan is curious to know what that means. Then she snaps out of her hypnosis, asking Ryan what he did to her. He says that what is coming out is exactly what he knew they could find there. At another moment, he talks into his recorder, then talks about his first hypnosis session, claiming there is evidence of multiple personality disorder in Darcy. Afterward, Ryan checks on Sam's while the boy sleeps. He takes out the ring he found and holds it near Sam's back, seeing that its imprint matches one of the injury. During the day, Ryan informs Sam that he's going to town for some supplies. He's leaving the two of them alone. Darcy happens to be there too, giving Ryan some food in a bag that she prepared. Before he leaves, he tells her that maybe they could work on a tree house together. The next scene shows us Sam hammering some planks into a tree. After some time, Darcy goes near the tree, but Sam is no longer there. Upon finding him elsewhere, she tells him he's supposed to know Mom's rules. She also asks if he remembers the story about the horse wandering in the woods, due to its master not wanting it. She describes the horse that began to enjoy its freedom. Darcy says this while she puts her on Sam's face. She continues describing how the horse began to feel very lonely. It knew there was no one to take care of it. What it didn't know was that there was a man in the woods who set a trap for the horse, made of flowers and sweet grass. When Ryan returns home, he asks Sam what he's drawing. He sees it, which is a drawing of a horse. He then asks Sam if he went to the woods earlier. Darcy comes in to say he did not. She adds that Ryan didn't board up a certain door like he said he would. Ryan gives Sam a small crayon box that he must have bought in town. Later, the man stands on a ladder doing some electrical work. He tells Sam to write down an instruction to shut off the breaker, and then asks him to show it to Darcy. After the boy follows the command, he leaves with the message. Thinking that Darcy already shut off the breakers, Ryan tries to connect some wires, only to get electrocuted. He angrily heads to Darcy, asking her why she didn't do what Sam had written down. However, the lady is confused. Ryan then asks the boy if he relayed his request. Darcy reminds him that the boy can't talk. Furious, Ryan grabs Sam to remind him that he needs to follow his orders. Ryan's irrational display of anger upsets Darcy. When the two leave, Ryan finds a crumpled sheet of paper on the floor containing the message Sam was supposed to show Darcy. After that, we see Ryan boarding up the door he promised Darcy he would. Another scene shows Darcy beside a lying Sam. She asks him if he understands why he has to listen to Mom, warning him that disobedience can get him hurt. She mentions how the only way to be safe is to stay close to her, adding that he has to allow her to protect him from Mom. Following this, Darcy talks to Ryan, telling him she doesn't want to see that angry side of him again. He tells her she won't. He also says that Sam not telling her to shut off the breaker and running into the woods is the boy testing him. It seems like Ryan didn't buy Darcy's lie when she told him Sam didn't go to the woods. He tells her that he can't let Sam think he's in control of Ryan. Darcy then accuses him of wanting to break them just like her mother did. She makes it clear that she will not allow him to control them. Once she leaves, he gets a call on his phone again. This time, Ryan is the one to deliver the profanity by rudely telling the caller to go away. In the morning, Ryan wakes up to Darcy frantically searching for Sam. He tells her to go look outside. While she does that, he removes the planks on the door he nailed them to. He enters the pen to find Sam standing in a corner there. Of course, he asks Sam how he got inside. The boy gets into a fearful crouch, which makes Ryan apologize that he yelled at him. He also says Sam doesn't need to be in this room. The next scene shows Sam taking a bath. Surprisingly, he says his first words there to Ryan, declaring that there isn't a place for him to hide from his mom. As one would expect, the doctor is amazed to hear him finally speak. He replies that there is no one there to hide from. Now that he knows the boy can talk, he asks him who did all this to him. He wants to know whether it was his mother or possibly even Darcy. It's interesting that Sam says there is no mother prior to him leaving. Ryan seems lost regarding what to do about this situation. Then, Darcy converses to him, learning from the man that he found Sam in the pen. He tells her someone put him there. According to Darcy, he was placed there by her mom and the woman in question not deceased. At that moment, Ryan tells her that Sam spoke to him. What he said is that there is no mother. After that, Darcy heads to Sam, telling him what Ryan told her. She also says that Ryan wants to fix their hearts, yet he doesn't know that their hearts aren't broken. That is their secret, she tells Sam. All they have to do is act. Later, we see a second hypnosis session. Darcy tells Ryan she is in the pen, even though they aren't there. Someone is there with her. When she asks the person who they are, she discovers that it's Darcy. Since that is the case, Ryan asks her who he was just talking to. She doesn't know. The hypnotized lady starts getting worried, telling Ryan not to do that, or else her mom will hear him. She suddenly jumps on the doctor, banging his head against the floor while saying he never listens to her mother. At this point, Ryan says he loves Darcy. He splashes water on her to get the troubled lady out of her hypnotized state. Back to normal, she is surprised that Ryan is on the floor. He blames himself for what just happened. He also declares they had a breakthrough. Left alone, he checks the back of his head and sees blood. At a different time, Ryan opens a drawer to find a document with the name Spavine Baker on it. He shows Darcy the paperwork in his hands and addresses her by that name. Turning to him, she says he should never call her that. She also says that Spavine lost her life in the pen. Darcy slowly approaches Ryan with a knife in her hand, saying that she walked through hell along with Sam. The lady disparages her doctor by telling him that he merely writes about such experiences in his little book. Taking the document away from him, Darcy says Spavine was her sister. As she rips it in half, Sam appears near them to vomit on the floor. Ryan sees that he vomited worms. Darcy instructs him to go to the pharmacy because they will know what Sam needs there. Vomiting worms is a common condition in this area, so Ryan leaves them alone again. Shortly after, Darcy tells Sam they are not animals. For some reason, she tells the boy that Ryan put the thought that they're animals into Sam. Soon something happens to Darcy. She seems to take on the personality of her mother. In that state, she starts telling Sam that animals are incapable of love. He starts covering his ears in fear. She continues by saying that when she tells Sam she loves him, it's due to her not being an animal. She tells him she is his mom. At night, Ryan comes to Sam, who starts leading the doctor outside. From the dirt, Sam uncovers a human skull to give to Ryan. The man realizes that the woman had other children. He mentions this in his recorder later. He also says he is concerned about Darcy having the neurotic disorder that causes her to take on the personality of her mom. She is unaware this alter ego exists. Ryan has to hold his gun while talking about this. He also mentions how the alter ego is slowly becoming the dominant personality. Then, he starts getting dizzy for some reason and falls to the floor. Sam approaches a sleeping Darcy with a knife in his hand. When she wakes up, he gives her a note that says she's here. Darcy walks with him, passing an unconscious Ryan on the floor. Neither of them even acknowledges the man's fallen state. Once they enter the pen, the door closes on them. Darcy holds the knife now, yelling out to her mother to leave them alone. She says their love is stronger than her whips. Sam uses his crayon to write a message on the wall that spells the words, "Cut her out." After he does that, he leaves Darcy alone in that room. She listens to that message as she starts using the knife in a way that she believes is her removing her mom. Suddenly, Ryan regains consciousness. He enters a room to find those disturbing photos Darcy tried to hide earlier. They are pinned to the wall. He talks into his recorder while observing them. One of the statements he says is that some girl, perhaps Darcy, looks like she has 2 sets of teeth. Interestingly, there are no photos of the child crying. Afterward, Ryan talks to that man on the phone, telling him he was right. This problem is out of Ryan's control. He wants to sedate Darcy to bring her back. The man on the phone tells Ryan he used to be like him, and that he thought he could cure everyone. Then the doctor calls the emergency number. As he talks to the operator, Darcy enters the room to ask him who he's talking to. Ryan is forced to lie, saying he's checking his voicemail. He asks her if Sam is her son, and she doesn't hesitate to tell Ryan that he is. She also tells him he's talking to Spavine now. Ryan becomes confused about the existence of the mother, so he asks her if she is even real. Darcy says there was a mom. She wasn't made up. She commands Sam to come to her. When he does, Darcy says he's been a bad boy who will go to the pen. Therefore, that's where she puts him. Meanwhile, Ryan hides from the crazed lady, holding a syringe, his sole weapon. She enters the room he hides in, only to get injected and fall to the floor. This allows him to attempt saving Sam in the pen. Unfortunately, the boy greets him by pointing a gun his way. To get Sam to lower the weapon, Ryan assures him he is safe with him. He promises to protect Sam. Now, Ryan wants to know if Darcy did all those awful things to him. He also asks if his mom is there. Sam replies that his mom is Spavine. Following this, Ryan takes Sam to his car, instructing him to wait there. The doctor goes back to the house for Darcy. The problem is that she's no longer in the place she fell. As he carefully looks under the bed for her, she comes out from elsewhere to stab him. Darcy follows this action by taking a metal stick to strike him with it. Sam hears Ryan scream, causing the boy to exit the car to run into the house. He comes to the man who has been trying to save him all this time. It is the first time we see the boy show him some affection. He desperately wakes Ryan, trying to get him away from the dangerous Darcy. Speaking of Darcy, she approaches Sam to tell him a new story. It is about a baby horse that was warned not to go into the woods. The horse's mom warned it to beware of the wolf who lived there, but the horse was too curious, which made it disobey its mother. With that story told, we instantly see Darcy into a bathtub full of water. She cries after she has done it. Next, she closes herself in the pen. Ryan wakes up, coming to retrieve Sam from the they left the poor boy in. He tries to bring Sam to a waking state, yet it doesn't seem to work. In the pen, Darcy takes some plastic covering out from an opening in the wall. Inside it there is a decayed. Perhaps it belongs to her mother, perhaps to Spavine. Perhaps, like Sam told Ryan, Spavine is the mother. We see how Darcy and Ryan experience turmoil in this awful time. Sadly, no pleasant resolution came out from them visiting this house. Darcy takes the gun that Sam left there and uses it to finally. Ryan hears the gunshot. The closing scene shows Ryan burning the house where so many terrible things happen. Sam isn't with him, meaning he very likely lost his life in the water.